Elon Musk was sitting in a McDonald's in Los Angeles, enjoying a quiet moment of solitude when a young boy, no more than 5 years old, approached him. The child clutched a broken toy car tightly to his chest, his small fingers wrapped around it as if it were his most prized possession. He hesitated for a moment, looking up at the billionaire entrepreneur with wide, uncertain eyes before leaning in and whispering something in his ear. Elon's expression changed instantly. The warmth in his face faded, replaced by a look of pale shock. Without hesitation, he reached for his phone and dialed 911. What had the boy said to him? What could have possibly left Elon so shaken? What happened next would move everyone who heard about it. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to subscribe, because tomorrow we have another powerful and inspiring story for you. It was a sunny afternoon in Los Angeles, the sky a perfect shade of blue, with only a few wisps of clouds lazily drifting overhead. The sun's warmth reflected off the iconic Hollywood sign as Elon drove through the city. That day, he had spent hours at a charity event, dedicating his time to helping underprivileged children. It was something he had always been passionate about, and though the event was fulfilling, it had left him both mentally and physically drained. Instead of heading home or choosing an upscale restaurant for a quiet meal, Elon made an unexpected decision. He pulled into a McDonald's parking lot, seeking a simple, familiar moment, something that would remind him of the normalcy he rarely experienced in his life as a public figure. Inside, the restaurant was filled with the usual hum of conversation. Families were gathered at tables, children played in the small playground, and the scent of freshly cooked fries and burgers filled the air. It was an environment far removed from the high-tech world of SpaceX and Tesla, and that was exactly what Elon wanted at that moment. Wearing a simple black t-shirt and sunglasses, Elon entered discreetly and ordered a basic meal. He found a quiet corner, turned off his phone, and allowed himself a rare moment of peace. As he unwrapped his burger, his gaze was drawn to a small child sitting at a nearby table. The boy had messy blonde hair, wore a slightly faded blue shirt, and gripped a toy car so tightly that his knuckles turned white. There was something about him, something that caught Elon's attention. At first, Elon thought the boy was just curious, recognizing him as a famous entrepreneur. But as time passed, he noticed that the child wasn't just staring, he was studying him. There was an uneasiness in his small frame, an internal battle as if he was summoning the courage to act. Seated beside the boy was a man. He was tall, dressed in an impeccable suit, his posture stiff and unyielding. His attention was focused on his phone, but every so often he would glance at the child with a look of silent disapproval. Something about the interaction unsettled Elon. The contrast was stark. The boy looked timid and small, while the man exuded control and authority. Then it happened. The boy, after what seemed like an eternity of hesitation, made his move. He climbed down from his chair, toy car still clutched in his tiny hands, and walked towards Elon with slow, careful steps. The restaurant's sounds seemed to fade into the background as he approached. Elon set his burger down, turning his full attention to the child. When the boy stopped at his side, his face was filled with something Elon couldn't quite define: fear, determination, and perhaps a glimmer of hope. The boy leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. Elon had to lean closer to hear him. The words that left the boy's lips sent a chill through Elon's entire body. Before he could fully react, the man at the boy's table suddenly took notice of his absence. His sharp gaze locked onto Elon, and something about his expression made Elon's stomach tighten. There was a coldness in the man's eyes, a silent warning. Slowly, the man stood, adjusting his suit jacket in a deliberate manner before walking towards them. His movements were controlled, each step measured. He was closing the distance between them, and Elon knew instinctively that something was very, very wrong. Though he remained calm on the outside, Elon's mind was racing. Who was this man? What was his relationship to the child? And most importantly, what had the boy just whispered that had sent shivers down Elon's spine? The restaurant around them continued as usual. Families chatting, kids laughing, orders being placed. But for Elon, time seemed to slow. He knew this moment was about to change everything. The man reached them and forced a polite smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Sorry about this," he said, his voice smooth yet devoid of warmth. "Noah can be a little too curious sometimes. I hope he hasn't been bothering you." Elon, still processing what had just happened, studied the man carefully. Years of experience had sharpened his instincts, and something about this man sent every alarm in his head ringing. Elon's response was measured, but deliberate. "Not at all. He was just showing me his toy car. It looks broken. He must really love it." The man's polite facade cracked ever so slightly. His smile twitched, and for the briefest moment, an irritated look crossed his face. "Yes, he's very attached to it," the man replied, before extending a hand toward the boy. "Come on, Noah. It's time to go." Noah hesitated, his small fingers gripping the toy car even tighter. Instead of moving towards the man, he took a step back, toward Elon. It was a tiny movement, but it spoke volumes. Elon caught the shift immediately. The boy was afraid, and the way he subtly hid behind him told Elon all he needed to know. The police arrived just in time. Officers entered the restaurant, scanning the tense situation as Noah clung to Elon's side. The suited man's composure cracked, his confident exterior slipping as the officers approached. Elon calmly explained the situation, recounting how the boy had reached out to him in distress. With a firm hand, the officers apprehended the man, uncovering disturbing details about his past. Noah's mother had been injured and left at home, unaware that help was finally on the way. Thanks to Noah's bravery and Elon's quick thinking, both mother and son were rescued from an unimaginable fate. As the police escorted the man out, Noah looked up at Elon with tears of relief in his eyes. "Thank you," he whispered. Elon crouched down, offering a reassuring smile. "You were brave, Noah. Never be afraid to ask for help." In that moment, Elon knew. He had been in the right place at the right time.